Hello again, everybody. It's John Diaz. I'm running for presidential candidate of the United States. I'm an independent candidate, and you can find me on Facebook under John Diaz, John, John, and Diaz, Diaz. Those are the only social media platforms I'm under at the moment. Today I'm in Hagerstown, Maryland, and we're looking at a brand new warehouse, and it's 825,000 square feet. Now, in theory, it's a beautiful warehouse, but the only problem is that it was built about, it's been open for about 2 years now, and the project probably commenced probably around 3 years ago, more or less. And Hagerstown is an interesting town. It's an interesting city. It's in the state of Maryland, and it's a great town because it's a big trucking town. So there's a lot of trucking here. There's a handful of truck stops. You got pretty much every brand of trucking dealerships here. You've got Kenworth and Peterbilt and all those big manufacturing companies here that make trucks. And so it's a big trucking town. And I think just as they built this warehouse, they built probably about a dozen more warehouses, and a lot of them are just sitting idle like this. So I think when they did this project, they did it to obviously move trucking, make Hagerstown a large trucking hub, which it is anyway. And it's kind of the problem we're seeing all over. So now we have probably over a dozen warehouses that are sitting empty at the moment. Like this one here, it's been empty for 2 years now. And if you go to West Virginia side, there's more stories just like this. If you go to the side of Pennsylvania, same thing. And then aside from having all these empty warehouses, you've got a lot of empty real estate all over America. Places that used to be the Home Depot that are just sitting empty, or Lowe's, or shopping centers, or strip malls. And so today, under video number 12, I'm talking about the state of the union. What is the state we're seeing today in America? And so I think that the state is looking not so great. The state is not looking so great today because there's a congressman that I was looking at today, and he said that America's flat broke. We're full of debt. Americans are full of credit card debt. And people are having a tough time paying bills. And those are today's realities. We've got this big, beautiful warehouse that we can only imagine what it must have cost to make, multiplied by thousands of warehouses like this throughout the country that are probably having a hard time leasing them or renting them to any companies. And this goes back to all the other videos I've made so far, basically videos 1 through 12 with this one. It talks about my intention of creating and being an innovator with job creation. Let's talk about this. I'm going to try to talk as quick as I can. You see, we can have all the dreams in the world, but if it's not just right, nothing will happen. If we don't have the right amount of labor, nothing will happen. If we don't have a robust economy, this is what we'll get. Now, when they made this building, they were probably with high hopes that they could move trucking, that they could get a big company in here and fill this place up with workers and employees. And in theory, in the drawing board, that sounds like an excellent idea. But there's only one problem with this equation. And the problem is that if you don't have a robust economy, and the second problem is if you have division in politics, and if you have division where both parties are bashing each other, hating on each other, dividing the country, dividing ourselves, dividing our friends, our family, and everyone arguing about the politics, we get this. We get no action. And what I mean by this is there's been certain members of federal financial institutions that were nominated by one party, and so their interest is that party and they don't care about the other party, and so they want to make the current leadership look like they don't know what they're doing. And so the economy crashes, it goes downhill, and then that party knows nothing. So this is the kind of division I'm talking about. Instead of doing the good for the country, they have to make it go downhill and plunge to make a party look bad. And this is such a sad thing I have to even talk about this, and it's just reality. When I talk about stuff, I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about the facts. As a matter of fact, Ramaswamy, the candidate who was running for the Republican nomination, or not the Republican nomination, the candidacy, he was a Republican candidate. He now dropped out of the race and endorsed President Trump. He said the same thing I'm saying. He said there's a leader in the financial institute who, hasn't been called out by nobody. And of course, the current leadership, he's just a guy doing his job, and he doesn't want to get into those kinds of politics. So the end result is this. And then the intention of the other side is to win the election, ramp up the economy, get these places full again so they look like champions, and the other guys look like they don't know what they're doing. And that's a pretty sad thing that I'm talking about, because if that's the conduct of our politics, imagine all the bankruptcies that have taken place. Imagine the losses of our country and global loss of the economies because of all of these divisions. This is what it's come down to, the politics of today, in order to win. So I just wanted to point that out, that as long as that continues to happen, this is what we get. We get empty places, we get empty promises, And then people are plunged into bankruptcies, businesses of American citizens that took decades, if not over 100 years to build, and people go out of business, all that hard work down the drain. So that aside, I want to point out that the point of this particular video, number 12, is to talk about job innovation. It's to talk about the realities. Today, America doesn't have enough employees. It doesn't have enough people that can fill all the jobs, which ties to immigration, which ties to the ultimate success of the United States, which ties to the ultimate success of capitalism in a global scale. So do we want to see these places filled up, full of beautiful jobs for the people in America, and the truckers, all those trailers tied up to all those bays that we're looking at right now, filled with trailers? Right here where I'm parked, 53-foot trailers should be parked here, but we have nothing. And we can only imagine the cost of the upkeep of this warehouse for 2 years now. They still got to pay the people to mow the grass. As a matter of fact, you see all those trees with the gator bags on them that they use after they install to water them. And then all the shrubs over there. Looks like the contractor came in and mulched everything. And then you gotta do the snow removal and so forth. So these projects, in an essence, these projects were made to put people to work. The contractors who built them and all the labor involved, all the materials involved. It's a beautiful thing. But then when we have to see the empty warehouses like this, it's a hurtful thing to watch that. So for any companies out there that are having successes, Hagerstown, Maryland, Martinsburg, and West Virginia, and Pennsylvania here across the board, there's plenty of brand new warehouses for any companies that need to rent new space because they're expanding and they're having good fortunes. Come and look at these places. This Hagerstown's a great place. There's a lot of trucking, a lot of resources here. And so back to the point, which ties to greenhouse farming. A lot of these warehouses would be good for that. As a matter of fact, this warehouse here has electricity. It has climate control. And not sure about a backup generator, but it's possible. Looks like they thought about everything else, so it's possible. But this is what I was talking about in the last video, video 11, about indoor farming and asking the farmers, or telling the farmers, suggesting to the farmers about doing greenhouses in their own land to create food. Because the bottom line is that while it's snowing, let's pretend it's snowing here and the parking lot's full of snow. You know, people usually don't work until the snow passes through and they clean everything up, right? But in the greenhouses, they can continue to produce food. They can continue to make whatever it is they want to make. You know, whether it's food production, you know, that field is for the experts. I'm just laying it out of the overall scope of what I'm talking about. they can figure out what to do with these places, but we need a robust economy to make it all work, is what I'm trying to say in this video. We need a robust economy. We need to become unified and stop these wars between both parties just to make themselves look good like they're the winners and the other party's the loser. This has to stop. And the people in government need to be careful to conduct that kind of behavior, because honestly, it's an illegal behavior. And so what I'm trying to say is that the politicians and the people who work in government should look to better the country, to better the economy, to better the people's lives, and not look to better their own party. That's not how it works, and that's not what it's about. So the only way that we're going to have a economic success is by having a robust economy, by having a visionary leading the country with a vision of job creation, job growth, and just have an explosive economy. Because ultimately, that is what pays for everything. And if we have an economy that's declined, like we're seeing with this brand new building, as a matter of fact, it's a beautiful, large building. I can't imagine what the price tag of this must have been. And it's really sad because I could drive all over town and show you guys another dozen buildings like this just sitting idle, brand new. So with a robust economy, an explosive economy, comes success. These places will fill up. You'll see trailers attached to all those bay doors. You'll see this parking lot full of trailers. You'll see that parking lot and all around the parking lot and the other side full of employees' cars, multiplied by probably thousands of these buildings all over America sitting idle. Not to mention all the commercial real estate that's sitting empty. And in the meantime, other people, other places like China, for instance, got a lot of success while we got a lot of decline. So if we want to manufacture things for ourselves and for people around the world to reclaim manufacturing, and we've got to have clientele around the world, friends of ours that'll be happy to buy from us because we've been good partners to them. But if we want to kick everybody out of here and say everybody's our enemy, Russia, China will be happy to take those places over. Trust me when I say that, because it's already it's been happening all along. Any place that they can get, they'll aim to do that. Not to mention, as they move along, not only are they getting those countries, but they're taking over the resources of those countries, whether it's petroleum or whatever it is, resources that they know that's there to get. So we've got to strive for capitalism. We've got to strive for unity. We've got to strive to keep an economy that rages and have good partnerships with all the countries around the world so we can be an exporter and help all those nations. And so part of that success is having water to give to all the states that need it, the states that don't have enough water. We've got to be able to whether it's trucking the water, because we don't have a national water pipeline at the moment. And when I was talking about in video number 11, I was talking about a pipeline, a national pipeline. Now, I doubt that would happen under my administration, because a project like that is enormous and requires a lot of planning, probably, many years of planning and so forth. But I'm talking about a pipeline that can move water from desalination plants all throughout the United States. And I would definitely be an advocate for more desalination plants throughout the U.S., East and West Coast. And then tie those pipelines to other treatment facilities, and crisscross the country in a new network, tying even drainage pipelines, and that way we can manage floods better, have pipelines that are also pumped using pumping stations to move the water. If water's too high, exhaust it back to the ocean. If we need more water, exhaust it to the treatment plants so they can have the necessary water. So for now, we don't have that plan in place, so we would have to use trucking. And so there's a big, huge opportunity right now to retrieve floodwaters and treat that water in plants wherever people need that water. And this is a huge undertaking. The purpose of this idea is to give the American people the necessary water that they need to thrive, to give the American businesses the necessary water to thrive, and to become, in a sense, a producer of water, where we can store an incredible amount of water and even be a global exporter. Imagine all the countries, for instance, in Africa, that it's too hot, too dry, they don't have enough water that they need. We could be helping people out. We could be helping countries solidifying good relationships with countries. And this is what Russia and China are trying to do. And so we've got to step up and use every idea, every implementation we can use, so we can benefit this nation and its people. Remember what the senator said today: America's broke. We're busted. Well, we got to fix it. The only way to do that is working hard, putting people to work. And if you go back and look at all the 12 videos I've made so far, and this is no joke, that's a lot of jobs that I've been talking about in these 12 videos. At this point, we're probably dealing with, definitely, I would say, hovering between 20 to 30 million additional jobs that never existed. That's hard to believe. They've never existed. And I'm mentioning them here, whether I win or not. I'm giving my ideas to everybody, because you see, I don't care about one party or the other. What I care about right now is the success of the United States of America. So if we can have enough water, we can use that water not only for the consumption of American businesses and the American public, but we would have water to start a program of irrigating not only the farms, But irrigating these type of facilities in our own proper homes, in our apartment complexes and condos associations. Now let's get one thing straight. There's a lot of these facilities that have the underground sprinkler systems, right, to irrigate. But then there's a lot that don't. So that could add to the chores of landscapers that care for facilities throughout the United States. They can implement that to their registry of services. And that would help create growth. It would help as a fire prevention. And it would put an enormous amount of people to work. With that estimate, we're probably hovering around 40 to 50 million new jobs. That's a whole lot of jobs I'm talking about. And that'll take a whole lot of people that aren't here. So if we don't have the right labor, we can't dream. If we have the right labor, we can dream. It can be never ending. We can put everything into action. And I haven't even gotten to the military part of it, because the ideas that I have for the military, it's ideas that are in conjunction and alignment with what we're enduring right now in the world. These ideas are ideas to combat all these issues we're facing, global military issues. These are ideas to be number one and stay number one. Because right now, like the senator said, we're broke, we're busted, and a lot of institutions are at risk, like Social Security and the future recipients. So I would say we've got to keep a raging economy. And if we think about the idea of the watering that I'm talking about, the water production, being a global leader of water, treating water, storing it, and having the shipping capabilities to sell that water abroad as a number one exporter. Imagine all the good relationships we can have with all the global countries that are our allies, not to mention Europe, our European allies. And we're going to not only talk about these innovations, but all these countries around the world, including Russia and China. I'm giving the secrets out here, guys, for free. I'm talking about new innovations to put millions and millions of people to work here. I'm giving ideas to China and Russia so they can implement these ideas for themselves instead of going to war and taking over countries. I'm giving them ideas because it seems like they can't figure out how to be innovative with their own economies. So they've got to go to war, and they don't have something better to do than to figure out a better way. So today I'm trying to give some ideas out there. I hope you guys are enjoying what I'm talking about. And going back to talking about this watering issue, think about all the landscapers out there in the United States that could be watering the grass. You see, just like we're looking here. All that grass right there, you can have landscapers watering it with tanking water systems, with sprayers. They can implement so many tools to spray water onto the turf, and that can become part of their services. During July, sometimes even May, July, August, and sometimes even parts of September can be extremely dry. Well, instead of mowing the grass, they come out here and water two times a week, green up the grass, and you're preventing fire hazards. You know, somebody could throw a cigarette, bam, you've got a fire. So imagine all those people, all the millions of new jobs you can create. You could even have aerial watering, the same firefighting equipment that they use to water from above when it's fire season. They can use those machines to water on a consistent schedule and on a daily basis. And the scientists would indicate where they have to water, because they'll be monitoring the humidity levels. Imagine all those job possibilities. So go back, please, look at all the videos, see what I'm talking about, and you guys will start imagining tens of millions of brand new jobs that didn't exist on top of all the other jobs. And keep in mind that all the jobs we've got right now at this very moment, there's not enough people that can claim all those jobs. And so that's another destroyer that destroys companies, it destroys profitability, it destroys companies' growth margins, and can actually decline companies and put them out of business. And then we'll have more empty real estate. So immigration, what I'm talking about, is giving the people who are so-called illegal, I'll communicate to them that they've got to go to their social security offices or the immigration sector and apply for legalized permits to put people to work legally and pay their taxes. So if you watch all 12 videos, you're going to see the chain of events that are happening from a robust economy, starting with trucking, starting with fuel exploration. I told everybody before, I'm not for one side or the other side. I'm for American success side. I'm for keeping everybody unified, giving all American people what they need. And right now we need someone that has a vision. I hope you guys understand and like what I'm talking about. And I hope that you guys spread the word, because if the word doesn't spread, I won't be in this race much longer without your support, without you guys jumping on board. So I'm asking everybody to share this video with all your friends, with your family members. Tell everybody about me. Remember, I'm an independent candidate. And most likely I'll be a write-in candidate for as many states as I can get on. So thank you so much for watching. This was a long video, but I covered a whole lot of areas. Please continue to watch so I can tell you guys about my idea of the military of the United States and what I have planned for that sector, which will just be tens of millions of new other jobs. By the time it's all said and done, we're going to be looking at about 100 million jobs. It's going to be enormous, an enormous economy. So we're going to need a lot of people. The United States of America is known as a country of immigrants. People came here from all over the world. And it's still the same cause today versus decades ago. And my idea is to be friends with all our allies, to help them. And my main focus is to help the American people, giving you guys everything we need to have a stable life. And when I talk about indoor farming, I'm talking about living healthier, because right now I think America doesn't have healthy restaurants out there. I think we need more healthy restaurants. I think our restaurants right now need to lower their salt, their sugar, because in a sense it's poisoning our people. Our poor truckers that work so hard day in and day out, and then they come to a truck stop to eat a bunch of salty food. And that's just not right. That's not my idea of a successful country. I'm talking about having healthy food. And all these big warehouses and farmers could be building stuff like this on their own land. Or they could just lease these places. They could put, 12+ people to work growing food. They can keep them on their payroll, and when it's winter time and they can't do the farming, they can rely on these incomes to boost their overall numbers and boost their business. So we need to teach our people to eat better, to stay healthier. So many nutrients our body needs to stay alive, and I can assure you most Americans aren't getting the right nutrients like we need to be healthy. As a matter of fact, with my administration, we're keeping people alive. We're going to make people live longer. And that's okay, because anything is possible with a robust economy. I'm talking about an economy that's enormous. And I want everybody one day, if I ever make it to the presidency, it'll be like a marketing tool, having everybody out there working all over the place. And it'll be publicly visible what I have in store. I'm talking about all states at maximum capacity, maximum employment, for the benefit of the American people. And that's what the bonus program is for, and everything I'm talking about. And if anybody watches these videos and needs to lease spaces out here, there's all these beautiful brand new warehouses, guys. Fill them up. Let's get people employed. I'm not for Democrats, I'm not for Republicans. I'm for America, the United States, working all together, unified. That's why we're called the United States, guys. Everybody being united, working as one big family, with our allied partners working by our side to have the ultimate goal, so Americans can have a better tomorrow, so Americans can have stability. This was a really long video. Thank you so much for watching it. Spread the word, and please, I'm asking for your support in every which way. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. God bless you all, and God bless America. Thanks again. Bye-bye.